Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today is October 4th. It's a Saturday, but I'm going to be doing the update for uh, the day of Friday, yesterday. Essentially, the weekly recap video. I'm going to be focusing on the indices and a few commodities and the dollar and interest rates. All right, so let's get into it right now. So, as you guys can probably tell, we have staged a very big rally after we entered my buy zone right around 410 to as low as 395, but we didn't get to the bottom of the range. We just kissed the top of the range here, and we're already getting pretty oversold on the other time frames as well, the shorter term time frames. So it's not too surprising. Now we're getting a little bit overbought, right? Because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row of consistent upside. My best guess now is that we are entering some in a resistance zone, and we are tagging this previous trend line here, this upsloping trend line, and we actually got a little bit of selling near the end of the day. Okay, and this is still like the bullish scenario that I have displayed here is that this is a wave one, and we're gonna come back down in a wave two, and we are most likely gonna, if this is the bullish case, then we're gonna blast off and take out this previous upsloping trend line, and we're gonna make a nominal high, or at least go to the all-time highs, and maybe we'll get rejected there into a wave four, and then a final push into wave five into early next year, right? So this would be a very dramatic rise in the indices. This would be a stock market pump of between, I mean, at the very least 490 would where my minimal target would be, which would be like 20% to as high as 30%, and that would be like something we've never seen before, because for year to date the markets are already quite extended, I think, especially the Nasdaq. Right now the markets are still up. We were at 434, so we're still up 15% on the year, which is really good so far, right? So again, nothing to complain about if you guys have been long since the beginning of the year. But overall, I still think that the bearish case is going to play out. So I've readjusted my count, and it looks like we did play out into a five-wave move here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's actually not the one that's drawn out in this bullish case. It's the one that it's because this would be a wave four retrace, a larger wave four retrace, a ABC, but it would be this one right here, right? So this would be the bearish case where we came back down in a wave one, we retraced in wave two. You can see a clear ABC retrace, and now you came back down in 5 more waves right here in a wave three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So that's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you retrace again, and then you came back down in the final wave five. So what you're doing now is a corrective wave, right? Impulsive wave A, and now you're going to come back down in a B wave, which I expect at the very least you should fill the gaps at like 450 and retest the 200-day, and then have a bounce up to this downsloping trend line, right? And make a nominal high on wave A, right? So that would be where I would enter the final short positions, right? And I would expect that this holds, because right now I don't know for what reason it is, but everyone on Twitter and the all the media is everyone on that's on financial Twitter or FinTwit is basically focusing on this downsloping trend line. Here, let me get a fresh chart so I can illustrate it a little bit better. So this is the one I'm looking at. The one that everyone for some reason wants to look at is this one from this pivot, right? And it is saying this is a breakout. We are breaking out. This is, in your face, bears, right? They're so bullish. But the thing is that you got to take it from the top pivots. I don't know why people take like short term, medium term. They are doing it to fit their narrative, which is not what you want to do, right? They're nitpicking the information, and you never want to do that because it never works. It never works out in your favor. So we're probably gonna get a retrace next week, early on Monday, Tuesday, I expect, and then bounce off into 4450, 4460 on the S&P 500, and that would coincide right around like Thursday, November 16, and then we should start to capitulate after that and take out the lows of around 41.38 that we just made. So again, this would, I know it seems very unlikely right now, but this entire rally seemed very unlikely, right? And now you're seeing the signs of a potential top signal is where the people that are bullish now, they're just making fun of the people who are on the other side of the trade who are short, and that's usually signs of a top. And you're just running into all this previous resistance as well, right? So I wouldn't be surprised that we get a mild retrace back down to 42.50, and it's not even that much. It's like 2% down on the indices, right? And everyone thinks it's never, we're never going, this was the low, we're never going to go back to this low, right? And it was the same thing here, right? And the same thing here. This is the low. We're never going to see any of these lows ever again. We're only going to keep going up forever. So the perma bulls need to accept that things can go down, right? And the people who just don't, who always think that things go down forever, it never works as well. Market moves in waves, up and down. It never goes in a straight line, right? And this is where TA comes into place. And an interesting thing is that why I think we could very well get a retrace early on next week is that the big money has exited, right? If we look at the shorter term time frames on the SPY, we've seen this time and time again on these retraces that we've seen, lots of selling and then a huge rally, 4% rally, 5% rally. Whales, institutions sell. They're getting out. Same thing, and then, price collapses afterwards. And then same thing here, boom, selling at the highs. And then what do we get? We got a monster rally off the lows, and then boom, they're selling at the highs again. And then this is just a 1 hour time frame, right? So this is where what I'm seeing at the moment. What I think what we're gonna get are bigger red cross and a sell signals once we get to 446 on the SPY, or 445, or 440, 460 on the S&P 500. Okay, and then when we look over the market cipher on the S&P, the SPY, the monthly has already confirmed that is a potential top is already in, and that it's going to be a sell the rip opportunities, not a buy the dip, right? So for the people that keep buying the dips, right, you are getting you're getting opportunities to get out and get out of your positions, because you're not making higher highs, you're making lower highs and you're making lower lows, right? So this is the why the bearish case is stronger right now, and bears are in control, right? If you keep buying the dip and it rallies but you never sell because you're just a buy the dipper and all you know is to keep buying and never selling, then you average in here and then it goes lower and you buy more and it comes back up, but your break even is now no longer here. It's maybe a little bit lower down here, but then it goes even lower, and then you buy the dip again and you bring your average down. Now your average is 420 and it goes back up, and you say, haha, I'm right. But what happens when it goes down 5-10% after that? You're just gonna keep buying, you're never gonna keep selling. Like I don't understand the whole idea of non-stop buying. It's just you got to take profits at some point as a trader. Okay, moving on here. Again, we anticipated this potential rally that came in this SPY. We had a very nice bullish divergence here form on the shorter term time frames, like the 4 hour. But you had a low and you made a lower low, and you actually had a higher low here. So again, this is why I bought some call options at the lows at 410, and they were very cheap because everyone thought we were going to go to zero. But what I was seeing is that a potential rally might be coming, and that was great because we made a huge chunk of change on this rally back up. Right, so just keep an open ear and accept that the other not the market doesn't go up in a straight line forever. And when I look at the IWM breaking these lows, it was pretty significant. We took out these pivot lows, and then we made it. We've staged a monster rally, and just look at that RSI climbing to like some pretty extreme levels here. And then it was an 8% rally in 3 days. Everyone's cheering right now, but you got to be careful. You got to be wary of what could happen. When I look at the Russell 2000 chart here on Oenda, again, I just look at this and I say like, oh, okay, we could either be just topping out here right now, or we might make a little bit of a higher high because the Russell still has room on the IWM. But again, this might be a little bit different. Might have to adjust it just a bit. So it might be a little something like that. But it looks like it's already topped out here. And again, once you get so extended, like on these levels of RSI, it's only natural that you're gonna get a healthy, normal pullback on the shorter term time frames just to reset stochastics, and then that'll be a buying opportunity if you're bullish, right? Which I'm not too bullish right now. I know we've gotten a big rally, and the euphoria is there, but that's usually what happens when you get these big massive rallies. Everyone gets very bullish very quickly, right? And the same thing can happen when the markets tank. They can get very bearish very quickly as well. And okay, so that's just important thing to note. Well, let's move on and we'll take a look at the NASDAQ very quickly. So the NASDAQ is a very similar situation as well, but the NASDAQ has staged a very bit of a bigger rally, and it's already almost at its trend line. I would expect that these gaps that we've created on the SPY and the NASDAQ will fill next week, and then we'll bounce back, and then we'll try to break above. But I think we're going to get some resistance and some more bigger news event, a catalyst will come, and the markets will start to break down. And now it'll be fitting the narrative that the bond yields starting to go lower because there's gonna be blood on the streets, or a recession will be announced. But I don't know what it'll be, right? Maybe the war gets worse, but just follow the charts. And I've actually put out some trade setups for next week. So again, if you guys want to join the Discord, I set them up for you guys. And some people have been actually very enjoying it quite a bit, and they've been there are only a few people in the Discord right now, but they've been enjoying it quite a bit so far. I already got 4 likes and only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members. So I guess more than 50% of the small Discord that I have set up is enjoying the what I'm posting here. All right, so let's take a look at natural gas. I want to talk about natural gas because this is something I've been very bullish on for quite a while, almost the entirety of the year. So nat gas is getting ready for its wave 3 essentially, and it's gonna be quite shocking to quite a lot of people once this thing gets going towards the upside. We've retraced from the lows. Green money flow is almost out now. We're almost done with it. Monthly time frame has signaled the bottom was essentially in August, or back then. Actually, what happens on the monthly time frame is like we'll make our bottom, right, a couple months before, and then we'll get the signal that the bottom is in, and then that'll be, the longer term buyers will come in and they'll buy it up, and they'll start loading their bags before the move actually starts to come. Same thing that we've seen on the S&P. We've made a low back in right here of October, but the signal came a few months later in December that the lows were in, and then that was a buying opportunity, right? The same thing here for the top in the S&P is that we made our top in July, and then the signal came 3 or 2 months later, and then we got the signal in October that the highs are in, and that we're most likely going to keep going down from here. So right now, I'm very bullish on natural gas. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be, but overall, we're going to be up on our positions very soon, and it's going to be up significantly, and it's going to be a very big short squeeze. So don't be surprised if we just fly to $4.50, $5, something like that. It can get ugly in a hurry for whoever's short right now. And again, I've been talking about this since the beginning of the year. So if you guys have been following me since the beginning of the year, you've been reaping the rewards, and you've been essentially in since the lows. Okay, but again, nothing is guaranteed in this market, and that's why you don't always go all in. I'll probably talk about wheat very quickly. Wheat, similar situation. I think the opportunity for wheat hasn't come. I think this is like where we're at in wheat is where we're at in natural gas. A couple months ago when we're at the lows in May, I think we're doing the similar situation in wheat. So again, this is a very big buying opportunity in my opinion. You're going to get the green dot confirmation very soon, but we may already have made the lows at $5.58. And again, this is just the ETF. This is based off the wheat futures contract, ZW1. So again, if you guys take a look at it on the monthly time frame, it already looks like we've made our lows. And again, I think there's going to be a lot of upside in wheat. You got a bullish divergence here on the weekly time frame, a low here, and a lower low on the price, but a higher low on the momentum waves, and then boom, you're probably going to start to take off towards the upside, and that's going to be quite bullish indeed. Lots of opportunities there. And then we'll probably cover just a few more things here. Let me take a look at the dollar, because again, we got a huge break in the dollar this week. Big drop, and we're actually cutting into red money flow. So we'll have to see if the dollar can sustain its bullishness, because the dollar is looking quite bullish on the monthly time frame. I always like to look at the larger time frames first, and that's what you should do as well. And the dollar looks like it's still very bullish. Weekly time frame, a little bit weak here. Actually quite weak right now, especially with this drop that we've seen this week. You have a 19 and a -5 on the dual band strength index. The daily time frame, you still got green money flow, but you are breaking down here. You're taking out these lows essentially, so we'll have to look for some previous support. That's going to be lower around 104. After that, you might get a bounce back up to 110, 111. I know it seems very unlikely now, but just give it some time. Be patient, and then you guys will probably see what I'm talking about in a few months. But anyways, because I don't think yields are going to zero like everyone thinks is going to happen. Right now, yields are already bouncing back on the 20-year and the 10-year. You got a little bit of a bottoming tail here. Same thing on the 10-year. Lots of buyers, lots of people selling, selling their TLT and their treasuries, which is causing yields to bounce back up. I guess some people are just getting out of. They just need a little bit just to get out. They don't want to be holding the TLT just yet, and I'm worried because we actually saw the biggest amount of buyers of call options recently on the TLT in history. So when everyone is usually piling in to the same asset and it's a crowded trade, it usually goes the other way. The same way we saw the biggest amount of put options being bought in October of 2022, what did the market do? The market just kept rallying and rallying, and all those puts expired worthless, right? So now we're seeing the biggest amount of calls being bought on the TLT yesterday, Friday at the on the market on the TLT. So now we'll have to see if these calls are going to expire worthless and long-term yields keep going lower, and we take out the all-time low on the TLT. So that's interesting to see, interesting to note, right? Anyways, I think that's it for today. I don't really have much updates for you guys. I'll be posting updates inside the Discord, so feel free to join. It's a free Discord. I just created it just for this channel. I already have one for Crypto Mickey, and now again, that one has over 2,000, 3,000 members. I'm not too sure how many members we have every day. It keeps fluctuating. But anyways, enjoy the weekend, guys. Peace.